ask you to try and stick to this time allotted, and let's start with our past international director and current area for Europe leader, Elena Appiani. Please. Are you ready? Well, I'll try and be fast because this morning is super busy. So, first of all, please allow me to, and let's see if my slides work. Okay, so please allow me to present to you the area 4. Please, I ask my team to stand up. We have Sanna, Elena, Detlef from Germany, Kagatai from Turkey, Melia and Mirella from Eastern European countries. Then we have Ravinder from UK and the Netherlands, Ravis from France, and also Manuel Rodriguez for Spain and Portugal, and Carla Cifola, Greece, and Cyprus and Malta. So this is the team. Yesterday, we worked for you as well in order to try and fine-tune the operational plans to achieve the 1.5 campaign. Will be at your total service. We are the reference person, so I ask you to please have a look at these people, because these people in the team are the reference persons that will help you achieve the goal. So we are at your disposal to help you in anything you need. So the past international president mentioned the goal we have, but what is interesting is that within this mission, the great change we're asking to introduce and promote, we're asking it to each one of us, is to work together, to be involved. All of us have to be involved. Here we don't have someone that has to do and someone has to say what to do. Here each one of us does. Each one of us has to lead with one's example. Each one of us has to take on responsibility to make things happen. And why do things happen? This is not just a mere, let's say, campaign to grow the association. This is a service campaign. And since when it comes to the service, well, we are extraordinary, we intend to be even more extraordinary. And therefore, I'm asking together with me and our international president made a long journey to be with us today. And together with Kyle, the division manager that came from the US, well, we need to see together how we can achieve this goal. And I ask you to please understand that this is not just a campaign to grow, rather this is an inclusion campaign. It's a campaign to encompass diversities and to serve more. It's a campaign to be stronger in our territories and to be considered also and taken into consideration by institutions. Yesterday we met Minister Locatelli, the Minister for Disabilities, and we started an important relationship with him. And this was, of course, the follow-up of a series of activities that we started in Lombardy region. But now, all together, we will go to the expo at Rimini on the 21st and 22nd of September. So this means more members, high level of association and more collaboration with the institutions. And of course, we have an operational plan which is strong, which can help us to achieve rapidly all of the results we intend to achieve. So first of all, it is customizable. This means that each area leader in one's country will tailor it to the territory according to the local needs. There will not be someone from above that tell us how to do things. Rather, we are in charge of that. We are in charge of defining how to. We have to believe and we have to know what is needed in our territories. And we need to establish networks for our collaboration. And also we have to thank the districts and clubs at work. So there will be incentives and there will be rewards for those that work together. And also we have to be proud to establish this international network within Lions. And you see how meetings year after year, because of course many of you have been dealing with this meeting for years, and these meetings are becoming more and more international. So do you remember, well, at the beginning there were just us. Then we had the vice international presidents and presidents, and now we have the staff members and the national area leaders. So we are one large European team. And I'm sure that here in this room, there's already someone who is not just accepting the challenge, as Domenico said, but also I'm sure that there's someone who's ready by the 30th of June to for instance, have a club. We have a medal for that. Who is establishing a new club by the end of June? Come here, come here, come here. Someone? Yeah, okay, here we have someone. Okay. So, a lot of people. I'm extremely happy about that. Are you happy? No one wanted to stand up. It seemed no one had a club, but we do. Okay, here we have another one. So let's go back to what we were saying. What matters here is that not only we are dealing with and by setting examples, but also because, as you see, if the international vice president, for instance, of course, and then you will listen to his leadership and passion and ideas, because it's difficult to tell him no, because he will convince us to do this campaign together. Also, we know it's very difficult, but you see that there's a team. There's a steering committee, and there are the executive officers and the international directors and the past directors like Domenico Messina and Mr. Sabato Santi, Sandro Castellana is here with us, and also he is a member of the trustee SAF, is also engaged in this campaign, so we're all engaged in this campaign. And also the members, well, you are from the Global Action Team, well, these are the people that will have the power to lead the change. And yesterday, during our meeting of the Area Global Action Team, the President said, Global Action Team. So let's put aside global and team. What we have to focus on is action. So this is the key word, and we have to start to work. So, as I said, the Global Action Team will help you, and you will be the ones within your districts and multiple districts, and you have our Italian representatives. But I know that in the room we also have other coordinators of the multiple districts in Europe. Well, they are the persons that will help you to achieve. And the club, as you know, is our point of reference. And another important aspect in this process is represented by group leaders. And here today we have group leaders like Alberto for the Italian group and Sana for the Finnish group, and there are some other group leaders in the room. But the group leaders have to work in close contact and synergy and collaboration with the area leaders. Because only if we work together, I'm sure we'll succeed in helping the governors, vice governors, and all those that, of course, what they have to understand, well, the tools we are at our disposal, and then the strategy is personal commitment. This is something we've been telling since the beginning. Each one has to be involved in this adventure. And of course, there's an aspect relating to reporting. And this is something that lions generally don't like. Lions don't like to be monitored. Many people say, well, this is not a job, we're volunteers. But please pay attention, because when you have challenges which are so huge, so important, then the only way we have to know where we are and to take stock of our situation is to look at figures and to understand what is going on and to fix maybe strategies, to adjust strategies. Nothing is stuck in time and frozen. Anything can be adjusted, and no one will tell us out. No one from the outside will tell us what to do, but we have to identify the ways ahead according to our needs, and then we have to set the example. Each one of us has to be responsible for opening a club and helping someone to open a club and to have new members, and also to spread the joy of being lions. Because it seems that we are forgetting about that. It seems we're forgetting why we have this being. And also, there are some steps needed in order to achieve this success, but I'm not going to go through all of them because many of you already know all of these things. And please be aware that this is a process that is quite long, but it shall not be slow. It has to be fast. So you should have started already to work on it. And the fact that many of you have come to take my medal is that you've started to work with this goal in your mind. So please, first of all, develop a plan, because nothing can be done without an action plan, without a clear, detailed and streamlined plan, and also a plan that can be taught to others, because if we have to reach the clubs, then our plan needs to be shared with anyone. And it has to be teachable, it has to be customizable, and this depends on the needs of the different countries and territories, and most of all, it has to be sustainable. It means that, and it's not from an environmental point of view, of course, but I'm talking about sustainability as a possibility to achieve. This is the main goal. We saw plans from governors that said, well, I will establish 10 clubs in my year. Then they were establishing 2. So let's do plans that can be achieved, that we feel that can be achieved because we have the right people we can rely upon. Then communication in all this plays a major role. So we are all working on communication. In Italy, we have Alfredo Canovio, who this morning as well was stressed for 1,000 connections and activities. And we have a team, a communication team in Italy, and in each European country, there's a communication team. Otherwise, if not yet established, please establish one. So let's work together with the club coordinators, because we have a lot of clubs now that communicate. So let's raise the volume of communication, and let's show to new members how to establish new clubs, because we are talking about, for instance, the establishment of new clubs, but people don't know where to start from. So let's try and allow people, our leaders, our members, to let's help to establish, and let's teach them how to establish new clubs. I know that in the afternoon Rita will talk about the mapping of the territory, which is a project that we've been dealing with for a few years now. But in order to achieve these goals, these European targets, but by the way, these targets were revised and adjusted yesterday during our area leader meeting. I will not read numbers, I will not read figures, I will not bore you, because there will be other occasions to go through the targets for each country and the targets for each district. But it's important that you know that there's a plan, and we are monitoring the plan already. So we are starting to understand where it works, where it does not work, and how to update these figures. And how will we, for instance, identify the right spot where establishing new clubs? Let's use the territory mapping. Let's check where we are. I remember when I was an area leader, I sometimes heard saying, oh, we did anything we could do. No, this is not true. Our penetration index in Italy is 0.07%. So do you really think that we did all we could do? Of course not. So the red spots you see there are areas in the Lazio region in which there are at least 20,000 people and in which we don't have clubs. So it's possible to have clubs with 20 people. And this is just an example, but then in the GMT meetings we'll talk about that. The new clubs. We can have different types of clubs. It doesn't matter what new club we're establishing. What matters is that we actually have a new club and that we put together people that want to do and provide services. And we have, for instance, branch clubs. And this is a first step if we don't have 20 people. If we have 10 people, 15 people, 8 people, let's put them together in a branch club. Then we have the special clubs that help us to put people together for specific areas of interest. This morning I was talking to a friend that said that maybe it's possible to have a club on Alzheimer's. Let's work on that. Or people that have common interests. Well, they are willing to serve together in a dedicated way and on a voluntary basis. We have a lot of pathways that we can go through. And of course, we have those that can help us. For instance, last year, thanks to Rita, we had the grant that helped us to develop an important project. So that was Insieme Possiamo, Together We Can. And we had new members, for instance, by showing the service activities we were carrying out in the territory. And Rita will talk about that later. We have a lot of opportunities when it comes to communication. At the area level, we have set out a frame and you can use it. You may, for instance, include it in your profile based on which you accept mission 1.5, 1.5. We have a page for our institutional friends where we're talking about projects, ideas. So we also have to establish and organize virtual meetings and remote meetings, hence strengthening the activities of the new voices, which are not an official program, but in Europe, new voices work a lot and well, and they are super distributed at European level. And this is a channel that we will use and strengthen, and it will be part of the GAT activities. We should not forget the training activities, and that is the final part of my contribution. We have to train at all levels. First of all, we'll work with vice governors, and there's a specific and structured working program for each one of them. We'll have the chance to strengthen the teams, for instance, of guiding lions. That's important because it's important that the new people, the new clubs are trained and they have to lead the clubs. You know that a new club, in order to work properly, needs more or less 3 years in order to, because one thing is to establish it, one thing is to see it being set in motion. And let's use the guiding lions to do that. And also for the new members cannot be simply included in the clubs. Then we have to train them and involve them and to give them a service activity that needs to be carried out and to give them a role within the club and to make them feel important. Because each one of us here today feels important because each one of us has a role. You're here and you made your sacrifices to be here, but also the latest member needs to feel that he or she is important for our association. And then there are also the training activities that you know well, that is to say the early and regional courses, FDI, SAP. So tomorrow there will be an activity launched by the GLT, Alberto Sauci, the club officer, the COT, the club officer training. Because, of course, training is extraordinary at high levels. So who participated in training courses? Everybody did. Almost everybody did. So if you participated in training courses, you're all trained and ready to help others to be trained. I'm done. I finished. Promised. So thank you so much, and I hope that some of my enthusiasm has been conveyed to you, and hopefully you'll be willing to go ahead and establish a new club as soon as possible. Thank you.